China is the one that provided some interesting findings. First, the charity aspect of the show. The winner, if it's a celebrity contestant, does not get to keep any money. The whole amount of money is donated to charity. But if you're a regular contestant, you get to keep just 10% of £100,000, and 90% goes to charity. So you'll be wondering, well, if they've gone through so much hustle to localize these game shows, what's the current status? Why is it ongoing in some countries and why has it ended in others? In the case of Indonesia and China, the game show is not running anymore. We attributed this to the market size, especially for China. We know China has a big market size, so they tend to, it's more likely that they'll produce their own local game shows, which they do have. Something like Special Weekly, which tends to be like a competitor for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Special Weekly being locally produced we said in that case, the local audience, tends to have more of a relationship with that show, and hence the reason why Who Wants to Be a Millionaire no longer continue to exist in China. When we come to Ghana, however, the show started only in 2009 and is still ongoing. We said it's a new concept in a global one as that. The fact that they use English, as I already said, makes it prestigious. And Ghana has a relatively small market when compared to China. So, and also, as Glenn said from my literature review, they tend to do a lot more imports from the West. So, and they give preference to foreign programs because, like I said, they are seen as prestigious. So it's still ongoing. How long it will last, we'll make that a task and keep you posted. So that's about it for the pie. We hope you enjoyed eating it. And I'd like to call on Nobel to conclude.
That's a fascinating study, wasn't it? I mean, I personally think the findings are really interesting. And oh, we still have this. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
做的这些事情是微不足道的。我希望通过我们的这些行动，能带动所有的人去帮助那些需要帮助的人。很好，很好。You just want one.
So yeah, as a conclusion, I'm going to start again from the beginning that simply I summarized the literature review that we're using is the media globalization, and then the focus of our study is the format, the content of the media. So it's not the production process, it's not the audience reception, it's about the content itself and how the elements inside it form and be related to the media globalization and television markets study, so we can see the differences and similarities. So as the conclusion, we could say that, come back to our previous question, which is to what extent does the game show format of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire reflect media globalization? As this is a qualitative study, so we're not going to quantify our conclusion. It comes to some extent, it does reflect the media globalization, because if you see the differences, I mean the similarities is showing the homogenized format, like everything, everywhere is the same. They have the same format, same song. But then again, as local adjustment, they have these differences which make it acceptable and enjoyable by the local markets. So, as we know, it was interesting, so we're happy to accept your questions.
Thank you, group 5. So, do we have any questions? Do you want to take one at a time?
Final answer.
Yeah. So you're going to collect them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go.
One simple repeat question is why the Ghana television present the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as English, and as Nana said, because the target audience, do you think it's a little bit reflect to the cultural imperialism or the colonization?
Anyone else?
I think the basis of your theories is the media globalization, and the media globalization actually includes many theories like colonization, civilization, and cultural imperialism. And your case study is mainly focused on the globalization and the localization of these game shows. So actually, the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in China is suspended for many years. So it's like the failure game show. So do you think there are some factors influence the failure of the show? Is this because the tussles between polarization and democratization? So
that's a very interesting textual analysis. So I was wondering if, having done that textual analysis, what you raised in your conclusion, did you feel that you were left with questions about what looking at production or reception the audiences might bring to this?
Should we just work with that? Do you want to take those three? So,
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question about why the Ghanaian aspect is in English, right? Like I said, English is the national language in Ghana, even though there are other local languages as well. But in terms of the game shows, the use of English language is actually something that's quite new. It tends to give it more prestige, maybe owing to the fact that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is a global brand. So that's why they tend to use the English language in Ghana. And also, when it's talked about the media regulations in their respective countries, they are trying to increase the literacy levels. So we asked ourselves this question actually, and we said, well, if you have game shows in English, you'll probably spur people on, to try and understand exactly what's going on. So maybe it tends to educate people a little bit more. Then you said something about cultural imperialism. Yeah. We asked ourselves that question as well, and the conclusion we came to was, well, if it was cultural imperialism, you'd probably be watching the British version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in China. There probably won't be any room for local tweaks for taste for the local audience. So in this case, it doesn't reflect cultural imperialism. That answers your question.
I'll say something about the second question. In terms of the Chinese who deserves to be a millionaire, there's another title called A Thousand Star Shines at Charity. The major failure, as we discovered, is not because of the globalization, but because of the local competition, because there are local competitors such as Happy Dictionary who started at 2000, years before the Chinese version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it's still a successful program going on there. So and then it has something to do with the audience as well, because it is the Chinese audience's choices to prefer Happy Dictionary instead of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And as for
I will add something about this second question. The failure is not only has some other reasons, like it belongs to the Guizhou. It's only a province TV station, and all the regular contestants is recruited from the university. So basically, young people and from the provinces near Guizhou. And another one is about the celebrity contestants. They are not really that famous at that day. Maybe some of them are more famous now, but yeah, so it's attractive. Yeah.
For Nancy's question, thank you. That's an interesting question. Actually, from this research, we can see not really widely about the production process and audience reception, but based on what we read. So basically in this study, we were focusing on the content, which is the elements that build up that program, and then we interpret it from many points of view, like the television market, like how the audience will receive, like how the local audience will prefer the local version of this quiz instead of importing directly from England.
And then maybe to add to that too, we can attribute to why, once again, we did a success and the failure. So for instance, in the Ghanaian version, when it came in Ghana in 2009, it was being broadcast on the national station, Ghana Television. But apparently it's been picked up by other stations, private ones of that. So we can say that the audience reception is quite good. That's the reason why other television stations are buying into it as well. But then it failed in Indonesia and in China. We can attribute this to maybe low ratings. And if we do have low ratings, the shows will probably be taken off the respective television stations.
Okay, can I take another clutch? So Gary.
Okay, yes, fascinating. The interesting thing about Millionaire, of course, is that a version of it started on Chris Tarrant's radio show in London. So again, it's that kind of crossover formats and platforms and things that became a huge hit worldwide. The Chinese version. are you suggesting in the Chinese version that they have bought what they call in the industry the Bible, that they've bought the idle format, lock, stock and barrel,
Yes,
and apart from those few tweaks, that they are showing it as the producers of the British version would want it?
In the one that we compared, they
Yeah.
are buying the traceable package
Yeah.
of the
So my question then becomes why? Because China, when I watch Chinese TV, they have a habit of kind of looking at formats from around the world and then kind of taking them and, Sex and the City is one of the most obvious examples that they have their own version of Sex and the City in China. And I just wondered, what is it about Millionaire that they decided to buy that format and use it in that way, rather than just make their own versions, like they would other programs?
Before you answer to each, are there any more questions?
Like Ryan, you said that producers of Millionaires failed because it's broadcasted by Guizhou TV. And what if that more likely to get a success if they broadcasted by CCTV?
Okay, we'll keep it later.
Any others?
As I saw the video you play, it's the Chinese version are all about the charity. And do you think it still reflects the concept of the globalization? Because nowadays there are also television in Hong Kong still about the charity. Do you think the failure of this kind of TV shows because of the purpose of this kind of show?
Do you want to do those three?
Well, firstly, a quick answer to the third one, because we also did study on the Hong Kong version, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it turns out to be another failure. But well, of course, because of different reasons. As for the first question, of course, basically, as we said, introduced the Chinese version of the legal bought copyright version instead of the copycat version. Is in 2007, which is like an advantage of something added to add up to the competitiveness of Guizhou provincial satellite station. But because there is already a successful experience of Happy Dictionary, and if we examine it closer, we find that although it is like a copycat version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it deliberately evade many similar television elements in order to look original. But local people know it's not that original. But if we examine it closely, it is like different. So for one reason, it is to why they buy this program. It is to add the competitiveness of that specific Guizhou station, and it had a big plan to have over 100 episodes, but it turned out to be a failure because of the market. So,
and anyway, Chinese version changes a lot from the original format. That's why, yeah, it sounds.
Yeah, and maybe their answer is just related to your second one. But I will still say something like. This is not the only reason, so this is one of the reasons. And I think the CCTV won't buy this format because they've already got a Happy Dictionary. They won't create an anime directly. Any more?
And I will add something into the right answer because during the process of studying the Who Deserve to Be Millionaire in Guizhou, we know that the Who Deserve to be Millionaire in Guizhou has already bought the copyright from the British one, and also including the production team from the British to help them to launch this whole program. So that's why it keeps so many globalized features in the program. But on the other side, they want to maybe win much more targeted audience based on their cultural context or access and other things. So that's why we all think this program failure just because maybe it has so many limitations on this part.
Any other questions? Okay, so can I thank Group 5 again? Thank you. So we've got a coffee break now, and we've got tea and coffee coffee and biscuits over on the first floor area just outside my office in ICS. And so we've got about, we're reconvening at 3:40. That's wrong. For our final group.
She thanks you.
Oh, stop.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I just left it filming for a minute.
Okay.